Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to try to write like Sarah Vowell. Now you may have noticed some things about Sarah Vowell. She was writing about her vacation, and yet she ended up talking about two very important historical periods. She ended up talking, actually more than two, but she ended up talking about an atrocity, which the Salem witch trials were an atrocity, and the Civil War, which was in many ways disastrous, necessary, but disastrous. And so I think it's a good idea to try to get some ideas about writing about our own lives from the way Sarah Vowell does it. Now, one of the things I have to say I really admire about her is she doesn't see the bad things in history as something that ought to be erased. She, in fact, is very, very compelled by those things. And I suspect most people actually are. We need to think about things a little bit more like a historian might. I think as people in this country, we all need to think a little bit more the way a historian might. And that is, people can be both good and bad. Of late, I've been hearing a lot of this good guys, bad guys talk, and I'm not sure that's very useful. There are things that people do that are thoroughly and unrepentantly evil. Kidnapping citizens off the street and giving them no due process, that's evil. That's bad. But the people who do it are not automatically entirely bad. And I know that's a hard thing to look at and think about, but the reality is the things that are good and evil about us are our thoughts and actions. We, on any given day, can go either way. The question is not whether or not I'm a good person and I don't do evil things. I am a sinner saved by grace, and I have done things of which I am ashamed, and I should be ashamed, which I'm not going to share with you now. But I suspect we would be so much better off if we thought in terms of actions and whether or not those actions are good or evil. So, I think you should write about something where someone does something good and that same person does something evil or awful or cruel. Something kind versus something unjust. So, what better thing to write about than a parent or a child or a vacation? How many of us have been pushed to be unpleasant and unkind in times when we're supposed to be having the best times of our life? So, what does this mean? Well, it means picking an experience, and since it's a historian, I suggest that you write about something that really happened to you, and examining things that were done that were not good, that were somehow bad. Even if the result might in the end be good, was the intention somehow bad? And I think if we start trying to tease apart the idea of good guy versus bad guy with good action versus bad action, we began to see that people can be redeemed. People who do bad things can be redeemed. And that's an important truth to keep a hold of. People can be redeemed. Every day that we get up, we can make a decision to do what's best, what's right, what's kind, what's generous. That's it for today. I hope you have a glorious rest of the day. I hope you see me again. you gorgeous people.